Today we are going to apply the skills you learned in our 2-point perspective skill building activity to create a work of art that represents a time and place. You will discover how to draw a city block using the rules of 2-point perspective. Once you can demonstrate the basics, you will be able to personalize your work to further depict a specific time and place. To complete this assignment, you will need a 9x12 piece of white drawing paper, a ruler, a pencil, and an eraser. The very first thing you need to do is draw your horizon line. The horizon line runs horizontal across the page, so it runs left and right, and it's parallel to the edges of the paper. Okay, so you line up your ruler nice and even and draw your horizon line nice and lightly. Okay, and for this demo, I dropped the horizon line just below the center point. From here, you're going to put in your 2 vanishing points. Your vanishing points are directly lined up with the horizon line, and these are the points that you will connect your converging or diagonal lines, which make up the sides of your building. When we draw a city building, we're going to start with the same first steps that we used in our skill building assignment. Okay, so you'll draw a vertical line about in the center of your page. Okay, that extends on the top and it extends on the bottom past that horizon line. From here, you're going to connect the top and the bottom of that corner of the building that you see, and you're going to draw a line nice and lightly all the way to the vanishing point. Make sure when you hold your ruler down, you hold it down in a couple of places so it does not slip on you. Do the same thing on the bottom. Line up the ruler with the corner of the building on the bottom underneath the horizon line and draw that to the vanishing point on the right. Now you repeat these steps on the left. At this point, you can go in and erase some of the horizon line. You no longer need it because you've drawn yourself some guidelines by drawing the first corner of that first city building. Next, you need to go in and decide how wide you want that building to be and place your vertical lines inside the triangle, okay, on the right, and do that on the left. Okay, and that gives you the sides of your first corner building. The next thing you're going to do is draw the corner of the next building going back into space, as well as the edge of the right side of the building. Okay, from here you've created a little bit of a space that you need to connect to the vanishing point on the left side. Okay, and that line that you connect from the top point to the vanishing point will be the top of the building. And then we're going to create a little alleyway where you connect the bottom corner to the vanishing point on the left as well. And then we just repeat these steps until you don't have any more space to draw. Okay, so for this demo, I will have 3 buildings on the right side. And then we'll move over to the left side to draw the rest. And then you see I'm going back in and I'm erasing the rest of that diagonal line that is not connected to the building. On the left side of the city block, I'm going to vary the height of the city buildings that you see being drawn. This one's going to be a little bit shorter. But again, I'm repeating the same steps for each and every building. Okay, now we're working on the width of that second building to the left. And again, we create a little alleyway. Okay, you have to connect the edge of the building to the vanishing point on the top and on the bottom, even if it's just a little line. Okay, and you don't have to draw that line all the way to the vanishing point. You can stop when it hits the vertical line of that first building that you've drawn. Okay, this second building over here on the left that we're going to draw is going to be a little bit taller. So I'm drawing a longer vertical line and I'm connecting the top corner to the right vanishing point and the top corner to the left vanishing point. Okay, and then I'm closing out that building. We're gonna draw one more building that's even further back into space. It's going to be little. You won't see as many details because it's farther away from you as the viewer. Okay, and then our city building, our city block will be finished. At least the layout. Now it's time to get into the details. From here, let's talk about some different details that we can add to our buildings to make it look a little bit more interesting. The first right side of the building on the corner here, I'm going to create a frame. Okay, and this is going to guide us on a way to draw windows, okay, on the side of this building. So that first line I drew is nice and parallel to the edge of the building. It's evenly spaced. And from the top of that line, I connected it to the vanishing point, and then I brought that edge down on the right side of that building. Now what I'm doing, I'm taking my ruler and I'm marking about every centimeter, just with a little tick mark or a little dash. Okay, and then each one of those dashes I'm going to connect to the vanishing point on the right. And this is really important because it's a technical drawing and you want to make sure everything is drawn in the correct perspective to make sure it's as accurate looking as it can be and as realistic as it can be. Now that I have all of my diagonal lines connected, I'm going back in and erasing every other mark. So it's kind of broken up into window and brick of the building. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is draw a vertical line. I'm trying to center it in the middle of that door, okay, as best as I can. Of course, you have an eraser, so when you make a mistake, you can fix it. Okay, and there's your double door to enter the building. Okay, so let's take a look at the second building and how to create some bricks. I went through and made evenly spaced dash marks on the corner of the building, and we're drawing the bricks on the left side of the building so it goes down that alleyway. And so we are using that dash mark and connecting that dash mark to the vanishing point on the left. From here, we're going to draw the actual bricks. So you need to line up the ruler with the edge of the building. Okay, and with your pencil, you're going to draw in every other space to create that brick pattern. There's your bricks. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can add that sidewalk and that street into our picture. Okay, line up the edge of that first original building, okay, with your ruler, and you're going to extend that vertical line downwards just a little bit. And then you're going to connect the bottom of that line to the vanishing point in both directions. And that gives you your sidewalk. If you want to put the breaks in the concrete, you'll use the bottom corner, okay, and extend the base of those buildings across that line that you just drew on the bottom in both directions. Okay, and that will give you that first break, that first rectangle or square that you see on a city block. Continue to draw lines on the right side of that sidewalk by keeping your ruler connected to the vanishing point on the left. And remember that these lines are going to get closer and closer as you get back into space and you reach that horizon line and vanishing point. Okay, and then you are going to just repeat that on the left side of the sidewalk. So line up your ruler with the vanishing point on the right and draw your lines on the left side of the sidewalk, remembering that the lines are going to get closer and closer to each other as they get back into space, closer to the horizon line and closer to the vanishing point. One way that you can show the curb of the sidewalk is to extend the vertical line, okay, right on that little corner in the front. Okay, just a nice little line, and connect them both to the vanishing point. And then draw your vertical lines inside that tiny, tiny little triangle that you just drew. Okay, and you're gonna draw a vertical line every single time that your sidewalk has a break in the concrete. It's just a nice little detail to make it look a little bit more realistic, a little bit more three-dimensional. When you get to this point, it's time to start adding personalized details to really demonstrate the time and place that you want to depict in your work. Okay, remember, you can have windows on different sides of the buildings. You can have archways, you can have billboard signs, it could be a car wash, maybe there's a garage door, things like that. You can draw the road, you can draw trees and light posts. You could even draw a layer of buildings further away in the background, okay? Lots of different things you can do. Once you have all your details drawn out, it's time to start stylizing, okay, adding color,